January 2015, a group of New Zealand film students found themselves in a situation that was anything but ordinary while filming outside Auckland's Parnell railway station. The video that surfaced was captured by a student named Chris Moore. At first, everything seemed harmless. Chris and his friends were simply goofing around, enjoying the moment, and casually recording some footage. But their laughter and playful energy quickly shifted into unease when they noticed something chilling just beyond the tall grass near the station. A man and a woman stood still, hidden yet eerily visible, wearing unsettling white masks and silently staring in the direction of the camera. At first, the students assumed it was a prank, perhaps other students from the institute trying to scare them for a laugh. You can even hear them chuckling nervously in the footage, but that laughter masked something deeper, real fear. Their instincts were soon proven correct. When reviewing the footage later, they noticed something that made their blood run cold. One of the masked figures appeared to be holding a pistol. Concerned, the students quickly fled back toward the main road.
Where's the other one? Where's the other one? I don't see him.
Not wanting to wait around and find out if the weapon was real or what the couple's intentions were. Moments later, a police helicopter was reportedly seen circling the area, though it's unclear who actually alerted authorities. What's even more unsettling is that this wasn't the couple's first appearance. Just days earlier, the same masked individuals had allegedly harassed a woman at Auckland's Domain Park. By the time police responded, the masked duo had vanished. When officers arrived at the train station, Chris and his group gave their report, which prompted the Auckland Police Department to issue a public warning via Facebook. They urged the masked suspects to come forward and advised civilians to avoid them if seen. Police emphasized they had no way of knowing whether any weapons were real or fake and would have to treat every incident as a legitimate threat. Eventually, the couple did come forward, but little was shared publicly about who they were or why they had engaged in such menacing behavior. While some online skeptics accused the students of faking the whole thing for clout, a school spokesperson clarified that the masked pair were not affiliated with the institution, and according to a Vice article, police later confirmed the weapons were believed to be fake, though no official record of this confirmation exists. To this day, the motives behind the couple's bizarre behavior remain a mystery, and thankfully, the students got away before things could escalate further. Thousands of miles away, nestled at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan, lies the infamous Aokigahara Forest, more hauntingly known as the Sea of Trees. The forest, spread across 30 square kilometers of hardened volcanic lava, has long held a dark reputation. While its natural beauty draws tourists and adventurers alike, it's also tragically known as one of the most common places in Japan for people to end their own lives. The entry to the forest bears a chilling sign that pleads with visitors to reconsider their decision. Quietly think once more about your parents, siblings, and children. Please don't suffer alone, and first reach out. In July 2017, a YouTuber and urban explorer named Burbex decided to venture into the Sea of Trees to document what he might encounter. The video began with a typical walkthrough, silent, contemplative, even scenic, but it quickly took a darker turn. Just a few minutes into the forest, he discovered an abandoned bicycle.
I'm only a few meters away from the road right now, but I've already found an abandoned bike. It's actually a pretty nice bike. Let's take a look at it. I don't think it's been here a long time. What have we got in here? And there's a packet for a knife. I think I've just found some kind of note in a bag. It says 1211. I can't quite make out. I think this is somebody's name just here, and I'm not sure what this means.
It wasn't rusted or old, but relatively new, and lying beside it was an empty package that had once contained a kitchen knife. A short while later, Burbex uncovered a note written on a plastic bag. Translated, it read, December 11th verified, Fuji Yosha Police Station. This note indicated that the local police had already discovered and verified the scene, meaning someone had likely entered the forest with the intention of taking their own life. It was a solemn, bone-chilling realization. Encounters like these, where physical remnants tell a silent story of despair, are all too common in Aokigahara. Despite government efforts, including surveillance cameras and trained volunteers who attempt to speak to those entering the forest, the number of tragic cases continues to grow. In recent years, the forest has been heavily sensationalized in media and online platforms, which unfortunately has only drawn more attention and controversy to an already heartbreaking issue. On the other side of the world, in early 2023, a completely different kind of forest encounter was caught on camera, one that traded psychological horror for raw, primal fear. David Meredith, a resident of Red Deer, Canada, was out for his usual evening walk through the neighborhood woods when he noticed a large bull moose nearby calmly grazing near a tree. Curious and wanting a closer look, David cautiously moved closer, using another tree as cover. That's when the moose turned to face him and charged. Moose attacks are no joke. An adult male can run at speeds exceeding 35 miles per hour, almost double the top speed of an average human. While moose are not typically aggressive, they are incredibly dangerous when they feel threatened. Realizing the immediate danger he was in, David scrambled up the nearest tree just in time to avoid being gored by the animal's massive antlers. From his perch, he began filming.
He just ran me up a tree.
For nearly 30 seconds, the moose stood still below him, staring him down, while David's nervous breathing filled the audio. But the situation quickly worsened when the moose started pacing, head lowered, signaling growing stress and a likelihood of charging again. David told news stations afterward that he was stuck in that tree for over 10 minutes, hoping the moose would lose interest. The branch he used to pull himself up was thin and dangerously flimsy. If it had snapped, David would have been helpless against the animal. Fortunately, after waiting for what must have felt like forever, the moose finally gave up and walked off. David waited another half hour just to be sure before carefully climbing down and returning home, shaken but alive. In February 2018, a man named Greg Harris uploaded what appeared to be an ordinary GoPro video of himself riding his ATV through an unnamed trail. For the first few seconds, the footage showed the typical sounds and sights of a trail ride: muddy terrain, trees whizzing by, and the distant hum of his engine. But then, in an instant, something horrifying disrupted the peaceful ride. The camera caught a flash of motion, and then a sudden jolt. Greg had just hit a nearly invisible metal wire strung between two trees. It had been set up like a trap, stretched out precisely at head level. If not for the wire catching his helmet instead of his neck, this could have been fatal. As he described in the video's caption, his speed combined with the point of contact caused the wire to snap, preventing a potential decapitation. The thought that someone would intentionally set such a deadly trap in the middle of a trail is chilling. Sadly, these kinds of incidents aren't unheard of in the dirt bike and ATV communities. Some of these malicious setups are the work of landowners frustrated by off-road riders trespassing on their property. Others come from people irritated by the noise, and some are created by disturbed individuals with no motive beyond a desire to inflict harm. In Greg's case, the person responsible was never identified. It remains one of those unsettling moments caught on camera, where just a few inches or a slightly different angle could have resulted in a gruesome death. Fortunately, Greg used his video as a cautionary tale, warning other riders to stay vigilant, especially when passing through wooded trails where something like this could be lurking unseen. Fast forward to the summer of 2014, when a man named Chris was biking in the remote mountains near Fernie, British Columbia. While cruising through a grassy trail, something in the brush caught his eye.
I don't know if you can see it, but there's a mountain lion. He's crouching in the grass. He's actually coming towards me.
At first, he thought it might be an animal, possibly a deer, but then the shape moved, slowly, deliberately.
That is a mountain lion, and he's stalking me.
Chris quickly realized he was being stalked by a mountain lion. Instinctively, he pulled out his camera and began recording. "I don't know if you can see it," he whispered nervously, "but there's a mountain lion. He's crouching in the grass." Sure enough, as the camera panned to the side of the trail, the big cat emerged, staring directly at him, creeping forward. Despite their rarity, mountain lion attacks do happen, particularly if the animal feels threatened or hungry. What made this encounter especially tense was the lion's behavior.
Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I am much bigger than you.
It wasn't fleeing or acting defensively, it was stalking. And then, Chris made a near-fatal mistake. He turned his back and started walking away. With predators like mountain lions, turning away or running can trigger a chase instinct. The animals started to follow him, inching closer.
Stay back. Stay there. I'm not afraid of you.
"Hey, Mr. Mountain Lion," Chris called out, trying to sound calm. "Nice to see you. I am much bigger than you." Over the next few minutes, he tried to stand his ground, making noise and trying to appear intimidating. But the lion wasn't retreating. It circled him, creeping through the grass and periodically blocking his path back to safety. The tense standoff lasted several minutes, with Chris attempting to slowly retreat. The lion, however, kept cutting him off, moving silently through the underbrush. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the mountain lion turned and vanished into the trees. Chris had escaped without a scratch, but the psychological impact was clear. The only reason he survived was because the animal chose not to attack. One wrong move could have changed everything. His video serves as a stark reminder of how quickly nature can become deadly and how powerless we really are in those situations. Then, in March 2019, something more subtle but equally disturbing occurred in Fairlawn, New Jersey. A 5-year-old girl was playing with friends in a wooded area behind her home near Route 208, a place her family had explored for over a decade and always considered safe. But that afternoon, while wandering near a creek, she discovered something deeply unsettling: a pile of shredded clothing lying abandoned in the grass. She sprinted back home and told her father, Dave Kuroda, what she had found. When Dave went to investigate, he immediately realized something wasn't right. The clothing appeared to have been violently cut off a person's body, with red stains soaking through the fabric. Although the clothes had likely been there for months, the cuts and stains made it hard to dismiss as simple litter. Dave called the Bergen County Sheriff's Office, who arrived at the scene and took the bundle for examination. Strangely, the clothing couldn't be matched to any missing person report or crime scene. They issued a public alert, hoping someone could identify the items, but no one ever came forward. Because there was no confirmed link to a specific crime, the clothing couldn't be submitted for forensic testing. To this day, no one knows who the clothes belonged to or how they got there. The stains remain unexplained, and the discovery has left a lingering unease in the community. It's one of those quiet mysteries that lives in the back of your mind, making you question what lies just beyond the trees. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon for more interesting videos like this.